Welcome to Hero Villains. In your opinion, who will emerge victorious? Null versus Thanos. A cataclysmic confrontation between the Primordial Darkness and the Cosmic Tyrant. Null is the very incarnation of primeval shadow, an entity that existed long before the first spark of light or the birth of the universe. He's the progenitor of the symbiote race and the master of all black, the blade forged to slaughter divinity. His power is not limited to mere physical dominance. He commands the shadows, possesses near-infinite regeneration, and exerts absolute control over millions of symbiotes simultaneously. When he shrouds the battlefield in living night, he ascends as a true god, overwhelming even the most formidable cosmic entities. Thanos is the Titan Tyrant, world-renowned for his transcendent intellect and his relentless ambition to command all of reality. Even without the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos wields colossal physical strength, resistance to the arcane, and an unbreakable will. He is a master strategist, calculating every move with a chilling, cold precision. When armed with cosmic relics, he can manipulate energy, time, and space, transforming himself into one of the most dangerous adversaries any being could ever fear. Before we dive deep into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button, and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you all so very much. Null manifests as an entity of such extraordinary power that even in his most weakened state, his influence reaches beyond the stars. At his primordial peak, he achieves a level of multiversal transcendence. Revered as the King in Black, Null is the supreme creator and the sole god of the symbiote race, holding the very essence of primordial darkness. This entity rose from the eternal void, the primordial chaos dwelling in the rift between the 6th and 7th cosmos, known by the name Knull. From that pure darkness, Null forged his first masterpiece and the ultimate symbiote, All Black the Necrosword, the all-powerful blade of death. This primordial existence grants Null an absolute superiority over all others who inherited his shadow, such as Gorr, the one once known as the God Butcher. It must be emphasized that Gorr, while wielding only a single shard of that Necrosword, was powerful enough to strike down 3 mighty Asgardian warriors, including Avenger Thor, Young Thor, and especially Old King Thor. Note that Old King Thor is the All-Father, the supreme monarch of Asgard, whose power is equal to Lord Odin himself. Yet, even those ancient gods succumbed to the claws of Null. The clearest evidence of Null's overwhelming destruction is the moment he swung the Necrosword and decapitated a Celestial, a supreme cosmic architect, with one brutal and effortless stroke. These beings, considered the invulnerable pillars of the universe, collapsed without mercy under that dark blade. This event is even more staggering when compared to the fact that even Odin, at his absolute peak and utilizing all the finest Asgardian magic, suffered a crushing defeat and could not leave a single significant scratch on a celestial body. This solidifies the fact that the primordial power of the Dweller of Knull has far surpassed the limits of any deity within the 9 realms. Null possesses a threshold of power so terrifying that any effort to resist him feels utterly hopeless. The dominance of the King in Black is displayed through his ability to easily corrupt 3 mighty Celestials, forcing them to bow and become strategic pawns in his vast army of darkness. Null further proved his absolute superiority against the Sentry, the warrior dubbed Earth's most powerful hero with the strength of 1,000,000 exploding suns, by ripping his body apart like a thin piece of paper. In the events that followed, Null merged his primordial self with the force of the eternal void, though the boundary between whether he is the incarnation of the void or simply its master remains a dark enigma. The direct result of this destructive union was a permanent global eclipse, as the entire surface of the Earth was submerged in a thick sea of shadow, and life itself seemed to stop breathing under the reign of endless night. Null's overwhelming might was finally confirmed as he held an absolute advantage over Cosmic King Thor, a version of Thor at the very pinnacle of his power. This is the character who once single-handedly drew blood from and successfully halted the wave of destruction known as the Black Winter, a cosmic apocalyptic catastrophe capable of devouring every reality. The fact that Cosmic King Thor struggled and was utterly eclipsed by Null has unintentionally painted a hierarchy of power that is incredibly clear and brutal. Null's origins further solidify this absolute might, for he existed and ruled the chaotic abyss from the primordial dawn, long before the concepts of space, time, or even the first gods were ever formed. Null is essentially a physical fragment of oblivion, a cosmic abstract entity representing absolute emptiness and eternal nothingness. Armed with the authority of that primeval void, Null possesses the ability to destroy a fully grown celestial with a single blow, and he completely overwhelms the Silver Surfer in direct confrontations without revealing any vulnerability or sign of fatigue. Another chilling testament shows that Null far surpasses entities capable of ending the entire 8th Marvel Universe. It must be clarified that the 8th universe here refers to the 8th eternal multiverse, a massive structure of reality encompassing countless timelines and parallel dimensions where even the concept of a total ending pales before the wrath of the King in Black. In this context, there is sufficient ground to position Null on par with threats of multiversal destructive magnitude, where each single multiverse is itself an infinite entity, yet is exponentially larger in scale than the multiverse that preceded it. Even deeper, every independent universe existing within each multiverse continues to take on the nature of a distinct plane of existence, which also contains levels of infinity greater and superior to the lower planes adjacent to it. Doctor Strange himself, the master of mystic arts and multidimensional knowledge, once used the metaphor of a layered structure. However, it must be admitted that the conventions of power levels in the cosmos are personified by the living tribunal, the ultimate sum of all creation, and the living embodiment of every abstract concept governing reality. The authority of the living tribunal stands as an invulnerable milestone of power, proven by the fact that this entity required only a single thought to easily and completely nullify the omnipotent power of the Infinity Gauntlet, a treasure containing the power to dominate the universe itself. We can firmly assert that the 8th universe, or more precisely, the 8th eternal multiverse, a structural layer currently spanning the entire cosmic tapestry, is actually a representative of the concept of absolute boundlessness. Simultaneously, considering that Null's power can match, or even exceed those entities capable of ending that entire 8th universe, we see that Null, when placed in his primordial omnipotent state, will meet all conditions to possess a source of power that does not merely stop at the level of ordinary infinity, but has the capacity to transcend the very conceptual layer of infinity itself. Null truly is a monster and is extremely powerful. I truly hope you will subscribe to the channel, for it will help us greatly, and you are the most wonderful person. Thank you so very much. Now, let us speak of Thanos. As both the supreme divinity and the absolute tyrant of the endless Resurgence Empire, Thanos establishes his dominion over his subjects through a calculated combination of destructive force and a reign of terror based on fear. In his authoritarian vision, the concept of individual freedom is merely a manifestation of chaos, a fatal flaw in the fabric of the universe that unwittingly allows meaningless randomness and disorganized disorder to flourish. He perceives death as the perfect cessation of all states of uncertainty, and for that reason, he nurtures a profound infatuation with oblivion. Thanos views the reign he built as the embodiment of the natural order to which all things in the universe must submit. To him, fate and randomness exist in constant opposition, and his absolute rule is the most compelling evidence for the ultimate superiority of a preordained destiny over all variables of chance. To consolidate his dominion, Thanos once possessed an omnipotent energy cube, a tool for mind control capable of radically erasing the natural will of all his subjects, turning them into biological machines that obey unconditionally and no longer possess the capacity for resistance. This giant, harboring a mad ambition, is known throughout the universe as one of the most powerful entities. He is the very incarnation of death itself, a unique entity described in ancient texts as an inseparable element. Thanos is also ranked among the beings possessing the most impressive and formidable physical capabilities in all of reality, where muscular strength far exceeds all limits. His body can withstand stellar-level attacks without harm, and he can move across interstellar distances with minimal effort. Rarely does any individual exist, if any at all, who possesses the ability to defeat him in a direct one-on-one confrontation. As one of the beings with ultimate physical power, he can lift and manipulate objects weighing over 100 tons as naturally as if they were weightless, and he has even completely shattered the structures of entire planets with the pure impact of his brutal punches. That unimaginable destructive power allowed him to challenge and defeat a series of the absolute strongest entities the universe ever produced, affirming the invincible status of a mad tyrant. Thanos once demonstrated incredible combat prowess in a direct confrontation with Thor, while the Asgardian god of thunder possessed the Power Stone, one of the universe's ultimate treasures. His strength exceeds all normal thresholds, to the point where he can strike down elite warriors like the Silver Surfer, delivering blows with enough destructive force to knock away the Hulk even when the Green Giant is in his most fierce state of rage. Thanos also easily subdued Beta Ray Bill and Ronan the Accuser cleanly, while simultaneously destroying Ronan's universal weapon, a notorious tool of war, with a single motion that seemed effortless. Even Ego the Living Planet, an entity possessing the massive mass of a living planet, attempted to use his macro-physical power to crush Thanos, but ultimately failed miserably, only to be the one who fell into a state of utter dread and panic before the extraordinary endurance of the tyrant. Thanos further demonstrated the ability to quickly overwhelm Annihilus, a tyrant from the negative zone, long famous for his formidable physical strength, without giving the enemy any significant chance to resist. The power of Thanos becomes truly terrifying in his ability to amplify his already vast physical strength to levels far beyond all limits of imagination through the manipulation of the massive, infinite, and divine cosmic energy circulating within his body. It is precisely in his confrontations with enemies empowered by the Power Stone itself that Thanos truly reveals the full extent of his brutal strength and nearly absolute resilience. One must understand that the Power Stone is a cosmic entity that grants its holder access to the entirety of all power and energy that has ever existed in the past, the present, or will ever exist in the future. At the same time, it can extraordinarily support and amplify the effects of the other Infinity Stones. The most fundamental function of this stone is to bestow upon the user infinite stamina and the ability to enhance strength to unlimited levels, depending entirely on how deeply the user taps into its potential. The stone allows its master to regenerate and copy nearly every type of physical superhuman ability, transforming them into an invincible entity on the battlefield. Even when facing opponents who possess that boundless source of power, Thanos stands tall and proves his superiority, showing that his innate strength is not inferior, but even somewhat overwhelming to others. Thanos is nearly a complete god even without the Infinity Stones. He can survive being bathed in a black hole. He can defeat the Silver Surfer, the Hulk, and Thor all at once. He can discharge destructive cosmic energy beams from his eyes and hands. He can teleport himself. He also masters magic and super science. He has even built a time machine. To claim that Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet is only strong at a cosmic level, or just beyond a single universe, is completely incorrect. You will be surprised to know just how powerful the classic Infinity Gauntlet Thanos can truly be. Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet was able to overpower cosmic-level embodies. He even defeated the eternity of the universe. Eternity is the abstract entity encompassing all of time and space. In essence, he is a living universe. Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet is so mighty that he easily reaches outerversal levels. The Soul Stone itself contains metaphysical worlds within, and Thanos can imprison abstract embodies, each possessing outerversal power. If it is not a high outerversal level, then it is because the Infinity Gauntlet has the capacity to devastate the plane of manifestation, which itself possesses power at a high outerversal level. Fundamentally, Null possesses combat strength on par with Galactus, for he can effortlessly decapitate a Celestial. Yet, just like Galactus, if multiple Celestials were to swarm him at once, he would be overwhelmed. Thanos is massive, vicious, and exceptionally capable. However, without a significant power enhancement or a way to weaken Null, Thanos will be crushed. This is especially true if Null wields the Necrosword, that divine and bloodthirsty weapon. Thanos might truly regret his claims of divinity when facing such a blade after being struck by its edge. Thanos is an Eternal, perhaps the most powerful Eternal to ever live, but he remains a part of humanity, a living creature of skin, flesh, blood, bone, and soul. As an Eternal, he should never age or die of old age, yet he is not immortal in the sense that he can indeed die. Null has existed from the primordial dawn, long before the Celestials ever seeded life into the cosmos. He claims the void as his home and his sanctuary. In comparison, Thanos is merely a castaway child with a morbid obsession for pain and death. This brings to mind Bane from The Dark Knight Rises when he tells Batman that he merely adopted the darkness. But Null was molded by the darkness. He was created by it. He never laid eyes upon the light until he was already a fully realized god. And at that moment, it was nothing more than a blinding irritation. That light and that disturbance were the Celestials, and Null beheaded one of them, using that very head to give birth to the symbiote race. Regarding the Infinity Gauntlet, I am not entirely certain, but I lean heavily toward Null. The Infinity Gauntlet is a threat purely at the cosmic level, whereas Null, with power that dwarfs even the Celestials, easily ascends to a multiversal level threat. Thanos has never possessed such raw power without the aid of artifacts like the Infinity Gauntlet or the Cosmic Cube. I hope you enjoyed this clash. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like this. That is the video for today. Thank you so very much.